Morning, Dave. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Fine, fine, thanks.
All right, so tell me what happened. Alaskan government kind of shut you guys down. Tell me about that.
Well, it's not the first time we've had a king crab season shut down. And that was basically we have a survey in the summer. So they'll survey the waters and they'll actually trawl for crab. They'll use a net. They'll trawl every so many miles and then take those figures and come up with a quota
Hmm.
for us. And so they were off by just my what I understood was just a few hundred crab, and so legally they shut that season down. Now we don't know if that's temperature driven.
Hmm.
We don't know if that's because of improper tows and all that. But the reality is they had to shut her down. It was a very close call, and so it was just one of those things we have to live through. And
Right.
hopefully we'll have a season here next year.
So what have you had to do without a season this year? What did you do?
Well, all the guys had to kind of figure out a different game plan and try to supplement their incomes as best they could. Some guys went, Jake, I think went black cod, and guys were fishing brown crab. They would do things like that. I think the hill strands did that, and I ended up in Norway. There's a king crab in the northern part of Norway, and
Mm.
so I was participating in that as well. And that crab is an invasive species from Russia. It actually came across the border and crawled into the Norwegian territories, and
Mm.
so they've been kind of dabbling at that for a little while.
So how is that different than fishing in Alaska?
It's well, a lot of that is in the fjords. Fjord is like a big inlet, right? It's like a so it's you don't have the Bering Sea as a lot of dangerous waters. Where there you're inside these fjords.
Mm.
And it's amazing that the crab kind of migrated in there. And we were also trying outside the fjords, out in the North Sea. And so we got a chance to explore and do some of that. It's just a different ocean. The waves are big, but when it comes to Alaska, it's just a whole different ball game because you're winter months and you're also you've got closer swells.
Mm.
That's because you've got this big edge that goes down to a few thousand fathoms, and then you've got a plateau. Bering Sea is a very flat plateau, and so you get these stacked up waves, and that's what makes that place really hazardous at times.
Now, how'd you work out crew to go to Norway?
Well, we kind of have my daughter and some of the guys join, and we figured that out kind of on the fly. And so and I know a lot of people over there as well, and so we put that together and managed to kind of scrape up a season, if you will.
Tell me, as a crew member out on the ship, how dangerous is that? What do you experience out there?
Well, I mean, as far as being a crew member, especially if you're on a new boat, a different boat with a different crew, the danger factor goes up by 100%. When you're fishing with guys that you've been with for a while, it's like any kind of a team, right? They
Mm.
they they learn to play together, and they know their positions, and every deck is different. So when you get on a different boat, hydraulics are different, the format is different, and so you got to learn that deck and that particular boat. And so that's where the danger comes in because you've got all these new little uh, nuances that you got to kind of deal with. And if it happens once, it can happen again, right? So
Yeah.
you got to kind of learn all over. It's just like a whole new beginning, and that's where the danger comes in. When you have a crew that's right and tight, and they're used to the same deck, that's when things happen gracefully. When it's a different boat, not so graceful, and that's when bad things happen.
How do you deal with injury when you're out there? Because I mean, there's a lot of ways to get hurt on that boat.
Well, I mean, that's just it. I'm no medic, but you just have to do the best you can, and hopefully, if you do have a need for a coast guard, that they'll be in the area. So the last thing you want is an injury, but
Yeah.
but it does happen, and you got to be self-sufficient, and try your best. I mean, I can remember my brother he had a knife go right through his arm. And, the only way we didn't have, we had to transfer him to another boat to get him into town.
Wow.
Because we couldn't make it ourselves. I forget the reason. It was the amount of fuel I had to get from A to B, something like that. But the point is, you got to improvise. The bottom line is you have to know how to improvise.
Has TV been good or bad for you?
TV's been very good for my family, and it's been very good I believe, for industry.
Yeah.
When you look back at it, I suppose, if I could say it this way, the advertising value alone has been tremendous for, I think, all fisheries. It put fisheries on the map. It showed a lot of the people around the world what it takes to get it from the source to the plate, right?
Yeah.
And so I think people go to a restaurant and now they understand maybe why they're paying a little higher price for this product, or what went in to get it. And I think there's a newfound respect for not just crab fishermen, but for all fisheries. So for that, I think it's been a blessing in disguise from day one.
Well, it's been great talking to you. Can't wait to see what happens to you guys in Norway.
Thank you so much. Yeah, the show airs on Tuesday nights at 8, and it's been 18 years, so it's been a real treat.
All right. Well, best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.